welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you can all hear me out there okay. Had a few technical difficulties this week at Woodroof's headquarters. I unfortunately smashed my phone. So all my contacts are in there and everything I have is in there. And if you have my number, please get in touch. Send me an email if you can. So I know, not an email, sorry, a text. So that I know who you, and put your name on it so I know who you are. I'm sorry if I seem distracted. I'm just hoping that you can see the screen share that I'm sharing. Fingers crossed, because as I say, I can't actually get onto my YouTube account at the moment. So let's start. Welcome. I cannot believe, and I am so very proud of the amount of people that have contacted me and asked me, can they join BBR? I'm absolutely astounded. I knew some people would want to see it. I did realise that, and I knew some people would want to join, but I didn't realise it would be to the extent that it's happened. And it's absolutely fantastic. So let me get started. Now, some people have asked me about why is there a price to join and which map are they actually joining. So I'm going to clear up a little bit of that confusion first. The only charge we have is £2.99, and that might seem to some a little steep. Some people have complained about that, but it's merely because I send you out a membership form. Now, I am not a rich woman, so I cannot afford to pay for the printer, the paper, the ink, the envelopes, all of that, and the postage myself out of my own pocket. I can't do that anymore. So that small charge is just for that. I don't make a penny off that at all. So I hope that clears that little bit of confusion. There are two maps. One I have started for the Americans and the Canadians and the people in the rest of the world. Now, I don't do any of the things for them that I do for the UK lot. All I do is pop them on a map, and that's it. And they join, and that's one thing. For the UK people, they get a membership to BBR, and not only does that give them access to everything that BBR offers, it also enables them to basically coordinate with each other in a really easy way. So if my screen save is working at the moment, you should be able to see an image of a map. I have no idea why I cannot see this on my phone. It's driving me absolutely mental. Right, so if you can see that image of the map, you can see all the people that have joined across the UK, and that's only been open a week. And that entitles you to new sighting accounts when they come in, before I put them out online. A monthly email, which will give you the sighting accounts, links to live feeds, any podcasts that are coming up. Feel free to advertise your own podcast with me, and I'll pop them in the live feeds. If you've got a Facebook group and you would like people to join it, let me know. Likewise, I can pop it in the email and I can announce it on next month's meet. If you have a YouTube channel and you would like people to pop along and have a look at your videos. If you're a researcher out there and you put your stuff up on YouTube, get in touch with me, get yourself on the map, and I can put those things into the email and on the live feeds, and then people can access your stuff. Now, one of the things, I'm just going to switch the map over. It won't be a second. We have opened a Google album. And it's an album for people to not only add their images, but so that they can see each other's. And I've put all of the, well, not all of them, a lot of the things that have come in to BBR over the years. And I'm going to pull that up now, and I'm hoping you can see it. If not, this is a total fail on my part, and I will correct it. But when you remember, you get a joining email, and in that email, it has a link to these images. So let's see if I can make them large screen so it's better for your viewing. Let's have a look. So I'm not going to speak about them because it's just too many of them, but I'm going to pop them along just as we're talking. Now, as I'm speaking about members and memberships, this month and last month, I had a number of sightings that came in. So members of BBR can, if they like, go out to those areas or contact me and I will try and put you in touch with a witness. Now, not every witness is going to agree. Some witnesses will be okay about talking about it online. Others are more than happy to meet you at the area. So I'm going to read out a few of these areas now. And after that, at the end of the live feed, I will give out the names of the researchers that I know are in that area in case you want to contact them. And I will be bringing a guest on around about 8:20. And that's Lee Solway from the Realm of the Paranormal podcast. And many of you will know him. So these are the reports that have come in the last 8 weeks. And these are only the ones that I have opened. I have so many in a backlog, and if you are in that backlog, I apologize. I am actually had to get somebody now to start going through the emails and pulling the sighting accounts out for me so I can see to them first. That's how far behind we are, I'm afraid. So first report is from Shea in Guildford from 1989. I'm not going to go into any details online about these sightings because that would be unfair to the witness. But if you are interested in either speaking to that witness, if possible, or going out to that area, get in touch with me and I can let you know where the area is. The next one is Roughside Boffer. Now that's in, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right, Red Dale up in Kielder. And Kielder's been a hotspot of an area in the last 8 weeks. That report is current coming at 2019. So it might be interesting if we can get somebody out there into that area to have a look. Also in that area, in 2018, we have the bus driver from the North Pennines, A&OB, which is Kielder. It's the same area, really. People in the area will know that one road that goes through Kielder up to Harwood, and that was in 2018. So we could do with somebody out to that area if possible. Cannock Chase. We have had 2 reports come in from Cannock Chase in the last 6 weeks. One is from a paranormal group, and you will have listened to that if you've been up to date with the videos. They captured a very strange image, and now more than willing for anybody who wants to go out and meet them, because they will be doing a couple of night investigations on the chase. I can give you the link to their Facebook group, or I can, if you rather do it by email, I'll get in touch with the last that contacted me and get her email address and pop out there and meet them. And more than happy for you to do that. They've had some incredibly strange experiences down there, and a number of figures have been sighted. And as I know, my friends that came out to meet me at Cannock Chase will all be interested in that one. I am trying to get back there as quickly as I can. I've injured my good leg, so I've now got a bad leg, good leg. So as you can imagine, it's rather frustrating for me. But Mark has promised that he will, as soon as I can get on my leg properly, he will try and get me down there. I'll be bringing Kaz along with me, of course. Now, Cumbria, I haven't got an exact area for it, but I am in contact with the witness, so I can pin it down. It's a wild camper. He's had an account in the Cumbria area. So, as I say, if you're anywhere in Cumbria or are willing to travel there, drop me a line and I will try and narrow it down a bit more than a county for you. Clifton Marina in Swinton. Now, I can take care of that one. Kaz, Darren Howe. There's a number of us down here now. The lad that lives on Littleton Road, I'm incredibly sorry, I've forgotten your name. Rob, so we can take care of that one. We've got, or if you're interested in it and you're not a member, but you think, well, I wouldn't mind some of that, get in touch and we'll add you to the thing and you can come out and meet us there. Rivington Pike is another area that I'm hoping to get to because we have an account there of a bear man by a lady who broke her ankle, actually, trying to get away from him. And still suffers with that injury to today. So as you can imagine, it would have been life-changing for us. So if I can get out to Rivington and anyone who wants to meet me out there or is in the Rivington area, we can meet up there and we can discuss it. The next one I've got is Thorney in Peterborough. I'm in touch with the gentleman in email. He's a lovely gentleman. And I'm sure that he would be prepared to give me a little bit more details of the area and I can share that with you privately in email. The next one is Gwynedd in Snowdonia in the National Park. And I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea and it's right out there. But if we've got any wild campers that are that would be willing to lend a hand on that one, I would be incredibly happy. Now, next one. Next one is Ben Nevis. Now, that report came into me from, and I'm going to get this wrong, Giles, I'm sorry, but it came into me from Kawani Lapsarites. I hope that's right. And Giles, one of our members, explained I was saying it wrong, and he did give me the gentleman's name, but I'm not too sure if I'm supposed to share it online. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and not. So I'm terribly sorry if I've got your name pronunciation wrong. But that account came in from Ben Nevis from the 1960s, and it has stayed with the gentleman that made the report for all of those years. So if you're interested in popping out to, you don't have to go all the way to the top. You could just go to the national park and enjoy the views. Let me know, because I'd love some area shots. I don't know the Snowdonia National Park myself at all. We are desperate for members in Wales, and I know you're out there because you all email me separately or get in touch with me through Facebook or YouTube. There could be a Welsh team. If you're out there and you're hearing me, there's about 10 people in Wales that I speak to that don't know about each other, and unfortunately they are not on the map. So I would like to rectify that if I can. The next one, nobody can go out to because it's from a Sherpa in Nepal. He actually contacted me yesterday with his account from a gentleman whose grandfather was kidnapped by a Yeti, probably, I think, in the 1940s, if I've translated it right, and was taken to a cave and kept for a number of weeks. So I did what I usually do. I went back through my own notes, and I managed to find a number of sighting reports in Nepal that speak of the same description. And obviously the Himalayas is an incredibly large area, so it contains India, part of China. I'll probably get most of this wrong, but as you know, it's massive. So I've looked all over that area. This could possibly be bushcraft. I might need to take this out of the album. I've looked all over the area and I found a number of reports. So I put them together in a video so I can share you. There's Kaz. If you can, I hope you can see this. If not, it just ruins the whole thing for you, don't it? You might as well just tune out and go and listen to Bigfoot Odyssey. I think Danielle's on in a bit. Right, next one is East Anglia. Came in through my wonderful friend. Hello, my lovely. She gave me an account from down there. It's private property, so I can't get you on there. But there's got to be a route in and there's got to be a route out. There always is. So if we can tag that or the waterway, we can get you down there and get you in quite close. Next one is Willenhall in the Midlands. I bet you didn't know there was going to be this many, did you? That's 2 incidents over a number of years. Edale in the Peak District. We have a witness report coming from there. The next one is Ditchyburn, or it's pronounced Dighty Water, and it's in Dundee, and I think it's in the Bonnybridge area. But I can narrow that down even more for you because I am speaking to the gentleman in email. Now, the next one states South Wales, which is an absolutely massive area, but I am speaking to him in Facebook, so I will be able to narrow that down for you. So if you're in South Wales somewhere, you know, it might be your lucky day. The next one is an incredibly strange one, and I would love somebody to get onto this. It is a bat-human creature, and it happened in Cobham in Surrey, and the gentleman made the report to me. So if you could get somebody out there to get some area shots and have a look around, that would be amazing. The next one is Little Ouse, the Little Ouse River. Now, I know Sarah's quite close to that, but later on, at the end of the podcast, I will be naming the researchers that I'm hoping are going to jump on these reports. We're getting near the end now. Next one, Lee Solway, who is going to be a guest in about 5 minutes' time, is in the Grimsby area, and he is on the map. And if you're in the Grimsby area and you are wanting to meet up and get in touch with people and get out there, we have an account that came in through the newspapers to the Bradley Brook. And it's a lady who took some photographs, and she claims that she's taken a photograph of what they are now calling the Bradley Brook Bigfoot. So I know Lee is looking for some help with that. Or if you want to have a listen to his podcast, it's on his profile, little profile icon on the map, and you can pop along and have a listen. My next one is Colwick Park on the Trent. Anywhere on the Trent is an absolute hotspot. There are sighting reports up and down the Trent they're just really easy. You just throw a rock at it. There's probably a sighting report there. It's a bit like the Medway. But Solway Park particular is an area where we also have, the gentleman has been incredibly helpful. He sent me photographs of the area, and I want to thank him for that. And he also wants to thank the lad up in, what was the first one I said? The first Harwood, because he's done exactly the same. Roughside Buffer. He sent me photographs of the area, and that's incredibly helpful because I can share those photographs with you all. Oh, you don't need to see that one, do you? White feathers. Anyone who knows me will realise why that's in there. But yeah, so that's all of those. I hope I haven't bored you to death with that. And as I say, that is just the ones that I have managed to open. There are so many that I have not been able to open. I've got somebody going through my Facebook messages and pulling out all the sighting reports and marking them as important for me, and doing the same in email and all of the other social networks. So I'm incredibly lucky in that sense that people are picking that up for me. So if you have contacted me and you think I've forgotten about you, I haven't. I'm just trying to get through the backlog and get this map organised for everybody, and then dealing with all the other stuff that I have going on as well. This might interest some of you. It's from the Peak District. This photograph was taken in 1865. This one was taken in Wales in 2018, and this one in Northumberland in 2017. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that they are a little bit alike. And they tend to pop up all over the country, and I have no idea what they are. These are the bones in Scotland that you hear me speak about. That's me actually in Scotland, sitting on my log. This isn't. This is what we were supposed to find, Karen, and we couldn't. This is on mine and Karen's research area, and it was sent in to me, and we went out and we could not find it. It must have gone up and gone down overnight, but we looked everywhere and we couldn't find it. When you see them in a line like this is where I'm trying to put a field guide together for people, saying that I'm not saying that this is sign or definite. I'm just saying this is strange. If it's all happening all over the country, it might be worth us taking a little bit of time and noting it. Something strange like this, photograph it. You just never know, do you? It could be. See, because this one is from Culbin in Scotland, and that one is from Ireland, and they're a year apart, but they're incredibly similar. And I know GPE's had that sign, and I know a number of the others have had that sign as well. So I'm just going to keep clicking through this now until we get to the end, and then I'm going to introduce Lee, who has been waiting quite patiently in the wings. I'm just going to check my messages now, just in case he's having trouble getting through. Oh, no, nobody can see the map. Oh, that's so annoying, isn't it? Thank you, Google, for that. You absolute not saying it, but it just got bell in it and it's got end in it. This is from Culbin Forest. And there is another. Did you see two? Then there was. It doesn't really matter, does it, Debbie, if they can't see it? It's an absolute waste of bloody time. Thank you, Google, for messing up my live feed. Right, let's get rid of that then. And hopefully I should be able to pop in the chat and speak to you all. Now, as I said, I've not been able to see the chat at any point during this. So I will, at the end, look through and try and grab as many questions as I can. But if you could possibly keep them for the end for me, and then I can at least... oh, this is not going well. Deborah. I actually expected more from myself. Right, 1 second. I'm really annoyed at that. I had it all set up and everything, boys. It's kind of threw me for a loop. I wanted to be able to show you all of those things. So you're going to have to pop along to the... I'm trying to... Can you believe it? I'm actually trying to find my own live feed. This is an absolute joke, this, isn't it? 1 second. Oh, there's Lee. At least that went well anyway. At least I can see Lee. It's just the rest of it that's, gone to pot. Right. So I am terribly sorry about that, people. But Lee, as I mentioned earlier, not only is he a researcher in his own right, he has a wonderful podcast. He does Facebook groups. He does an awful lot offline as well. Researching his own, and I know, like me, you have an interest in the horned creatures that get reported in the UK. But tonight, you've got some really strange reports for us, haven't you, Lee?
I have indeed. I hope everyone can hear me. I know we're having technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, the sound's fine. We've got that down pat.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, one of the accounts happened in the Bradley Woods area, which you just mentioned there.
Yeah.
The Bradley book. It was a case of this strange horned creature, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
A bit of a keen interest in. But I'll take you to the first one that I heard about first, and then we'll go from there if you like.
Yeah, please.
So we don't get too many Bigfoot reports round here. Obviously, I've joined the Bigfoot your organisation, so we can go out to a few more in Lincolnshire, the region, because we get a few from Willingham Woods round here, and a few on the A15 just up the road here.
Yeah.
In this general area, we seem to get a lot of reports of this. I'm going to call it the Baphomet creature.
Yeah.
Most people will be able to recognise that. Basically, it's a little creature with horns, like a goat head, man's torso, and then goat legs, hooves, cloven feet. So the first report I got from this comes from I'm going to say 79, 1980, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was a friend of mine, and this guy was totally serious. He was, down to earth sort of fella, and he just happened to mention this. We were having a conversation, and he just brought it up. When he was about 10 years old, this be 1979, something like that. He was with his friends at the back of a place, just the little woods. It's called Willesby Woods, but don't let that woods make you think that it's a big place. It's not at all. It's just a short little. Within 25 minutes, you could have walked around it.
Yeah.
But it backs onto farmers' fields that go quite a distance. Anyway, he was at the back of there with his mates. He'd come off the school dinner hour and gone for a crafty cigarette round the back of the woods there. Anyway, they heard approaching footfall, and it was bipedal footfall. And obviously they thought a teacher had spotted them.
Yeah.
So they all hunkered down, and through the corn, it was a corn at the time, through the corn, they could see something coming towards them. Anyway, they're still thinking it's a teacher that's caught them out. Anyway, last minute, this thing stood up, and it was just above the corn. So he puts it at about 6.5 feet tall, something like that.
Yeah.
Not massive by any stretch, and it was fairly slender what you could see, and it stood up, and everybody was there. Everybody saw it. It was about 5, 6 of them at the time, all around the same age. Anyway, this thing obviously realised that they was there and took them. And as it just run basically, it bolted in a straight line, straight back where it came, and it went across a road, and they could get a decent look at it there, and that's when he could see that it, what sort of shape it was before it bolted back into another field. And he told me this, and at the time I had a small interest in Bigfoot, this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it just stuck in my mind, but I didn't think any more of it. Anyway, it was probably maybe 3 or 4 years after he told me that. His mate had been out with him, gone down a local street here for a breakfast in the morning, and he was telling his mate this story. Now this mate knows the story anyway, but he was going through it for whatever reason. And a lady approached him, just as in the calf, just pure coincidence. This lady approached him and she said, "I've seen it as well." And before he could describe what he'd seen, she described in detail the very same thing.
Wow.
And she was out there, she was on the bridle path out there, she was riding a horse, and this thing stepped out in front of her, spooked the horse, and then it just bolted off. And she describes it as having very similar description as what he said, but she recalls red eyes. And this crops up time and time again. Right? Get people. There's a particular little patch of woods in Willesby Woods, which everyone calls the Witches' Woods. Okay, this is where your nutters go. This is where your devil worshippers.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, your satanic lord.
Yeah, this is where they all go and cook things up and all that. Anyway, in that particular area, there's a lot of accounts of people seeing these red eyes in there. From the exit in the woods just before you get to it, they can see the red eyes, and then obviously don't go in there. And a lot of that's down to people that could be in there. But when you hear these stories, you're not so sure.
Yeah, and when it goes on for as many years, and it's historically that these red eyes, and people are scared of that for a reason, aren't they? So maybe.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, there was another account of which is the woods in those days used to back on to. It's obviously it's the estate now. It's called the Nunsthorpe Estate here in Grimsby, but historically the woods used to go from where we was talking about previously right across to where you was talking about Bradley Woods. Okay, so that was all a big stretch of woods, but they've recently, well, not recently, I mean 100 years ago now, but they started building on that land, and the woods has been cut off. There's a road that runs through it now, and it is all cut off. But back in the day, there used to be a particular area which is in the Bradley Woods now, and it was called the Devil's Dyke.
Yeah.
And Andy, who co-hosts the podcast for me, he remembers that from his childhood. No one could go down there. No one would dare go down there, and it was because the legend went that the devil was down there.
Yeah.
We started talking about this sort of stuff, and he got in contact with a few of his friends from back in the day and asked them why this name had come about.
Yeah.
Did they know the reason? And one of them said, yeah, the reason is because somebody went down there and saw the devil.
Oh.
Yeah. And more than one occasion, people have been down there and described this creature with the horns, the cloven feet, and the red eyes. The general description there is about 5 foot tall. He's not massive by any stretch, and he frequents down there. So they was told as children not to go down there, and he just thought it was these stories that we tell kids to keep them out of the woods, whatever. He thought it was one of those stories.
Yeah.
Until he spoke to a few people and realised there was some truth behind it. Well, I was telling a friend of mine about this, and he recalls a story from one of his friends that told him many years ago when he was probably in his teens. This guy was a bit older than him. He was a gardener, one of these handymen,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and he was doing some gardening around the back of which is like it's an elderly people's residence.
Yeah,
and he was doing some gardening around the back of there. It's getting to dusk sort of time. The light was fading, and that backs onto the woods. And he went over just to lean on these railings and have a crafty cigarette. And while he was there, he had footfall inside this wood. And again, he distinctly heard bipedal footfall. What was another person coming? But why someone would be coming through this particular woods? Because there's a white ditch there. He had no idea, but he carried on smoking his cigarette. Didn't really think much about it at all. As he's there, the footfall stopped. And a few seconds went by and nothing, and this sort of creeps him out a little bit. So he turns round to where he heard the last noise, and he can see squatted down these two red eyes. Anyway, he sort of looks at it for a little while, and then they don't move. So he thinks, well, they're not eyes; it's just some sort of reflection, whatever. So he sort of brushes it off. This stiff upper lip that we
do. Yeah, so we do. Explain it away.
Yeah, so he says, it can't be that. So anyway, he looks away and he carries on whatever he's doing. And then it's in the back of his mind. So he goes to have another look, and he thinks, if it's there now, there's something there. If it's not, then it was just his imagination. Anyway, he turns around, and these eyes have gone from probably 2 feet height to about 6 foot height.
Yeah.
So obviously this creature, you impose that this creature sort of stood up.
Yeah.
It's too dark to see into them woods. He didn't get the great description of it, but he did make out horns on its head. Okay, so I put this in the same category as the other ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, when this creature realised it had been spotted again, it turned around and bolted. And he recalls it moving faster than he'd seen, any animal-wise. This thing was just gone in a flash. But yeah, those are the sorts of things that we get reports of around here. But I think I told you this story when I had you on the podcast. And looking back on it now, I'm not going to say I can't really give a percentage, but I am sure that this was more than what I thought at the time. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you're looking at it differently now because of, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this took place early hours in the morning. Okay, so this would be about 2009, 2008, something like that. There was a meteor shower, and it's one of those where you can't see it. You have to get out of town to see it. Anyway,
Yeah.
full intentions of driving as far out into the sticks as I could go. And you know how it is. You start driving, in about 10, 15 minutes, you're bored, you know, and you're like, well, I'm just going to pull up here. This will do, you know.
Yeah, this will do.
Yeah. So he pulls up in this lay-by, and it was me and an ex-missus of mine. And we pulls up in this lay-by, and I'm sure the locals wondered what we was doing there, you know. Got a bit of reputation, you know. We didn't know at the time, but anyway, we pulled up there, and we was watching the sky, and unfortunately, the sky was just clouded over. It was a total waste of time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm determined to see these shooting stars, so we're not going. I'm staying here. Anyway, she's saying, it's cloudy, you're not going to see a thing. Nope, I'm staying here. So we're there, and we brought like a little picnic with us. You know, it's sad what we had.
No, it's not. I do that all the time in my bed.
Yeah. But we sat there eating this picnic, and there was a tap on. Now I'm parked there in a van, I should point out, and obviously I've got the window ahead of me, windows. Yeah. That's it, and there's no other windows in the van. So we're sat there, and then all of a sudden you just heard this tap 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 on top of the roof.
Oh.
Okay, so it's like something could, you know, just fallen on top.
Yeah.
And your brain goes straight to you know, like an acorn or something like that. Yeah. So we're sat there. I remember this is like 2 a.m. It's pitch black. And yeah, this acorn. Anyway, maybe five minutes went by, something like that, and then you heard it again, tap 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 tap. And the second time you hear it, you're thinking, well, you know, still could be something falling from a tree. Anyway, a few more minutes go by, and you heard another one.
Yeah.
Okay. By this time, I'm starting to think, well, we're definitely either parked under a tree. It wasn't particularly windy, so it's not like, you know, the wind was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we're parked under a tree.
Why just the roof? Why not the windscreen or the bonnet? You get what I mean?
No, yeah, it sounded like, I mean, I can't be sure, but it did sound like the same point every time it fell as well. A bit weird. Anyway, so I jumped out the van to have a tinkle, and as I've jumped out, I'm doing my business, and I've looked up, and there's no tree above us. In fact, there's no tree within probably I would say 20 feet of where we are. There's obviously the lay-by. There's a ditch there, a hedge, and then a farmer's field. And obviously, when I've looked up, because I'm looking at the sky, you know, looking at shooting stars, I've looked up, there's no trees there, and I've jumped back in the van, and it's clicked into my head. You know, what was that noise? Because anyway, we sat there. I told her, she didn't believe me, so she's like, whatever. So, and she didn't want to be there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, another one bounced, and I just said, I'm going now. So we just drove off and went back home. We couldn't see anything anyway, so it was a total waste of time. So anyway, drove up. And for years and years and years, I had that in my head, and I always thought it was some sort of tramp. That, you know, just some vagrant living out there. I don't know why you do that, like, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, why draw attention to himself?
But that's in my mind. That's how I could rationalize it. Was there must be some tramp living out there?
Yeah.
But obviously, then the years roll on, and you hear these stories, and you hear this, you know, pebble throwing, rock throwing, and obviously you've got the rock apes as well in Vietnam. So this is sort of a trait that you associate with Bigfoot now.
It is. It is a typical behaviour.
Yeah. So looking back on it now with those eyes, it does make me wonder. But the problem is in the UK, and I'm glad to hear that people are joining the droves, because I think that's fantastic. Because the biggest issue in the UK is this stiff upper lip. It doesn't matter how many times people see these things, and I've been with people that have seen things and still won't admit it. Okay.
Yeah. So, same.
You know, and that is the English mentality, and I think for every one report you get, it's probably 10 reports. You know, it could be more than that. I mean, that could be a conservative estimate, but I really think these reports are out there, and I think for the sheer weight of history behind this creature, because you go back, you know, you've got the wild man, you've got the green man, the woodwows.
Exactly that, and Pan. Sorry to interrupt, but my friend often mistaken with the devil. He's not the devil. He's not bad in any way, shape, or form. A little bit mischievous, but he has always been in our history.
Mm-hmm.
There are the latest report of something with horns on its head didn't come into me. It went into Phantoms and Monsters. I think that's Lon Strickler's cryptozoology page, and they made a report in Gloucestershire of a typical upright, hairy, human-looking animal with horns on its head, which is a typical satyr. I think in the States they call them things like sheep squatch, goat man, you know, but in England that is a satyr. That's something that's in our past. We were writing about that before we were writing about the Romans. If you get what I mean. So is it the land? Is the land sacred, or do you remember I was talking to you and I went and had a look and I said there's barrows in the area, there's ancient barrows in the area. And normally where you get them, you get sightings of these satyr-like creatures, but also dogmen. Devil's Dyke is renowned for dogmen. It's another one of the phenomena that's down there.
Well, me and Andy have discussed this at length, and we work on the theory that the ancients knew where to build these places. It wasn't haphazard, you know.
Yeah,
they built
exactly.
These burial mounds, if they were indeed burial mounds, a lot of them weren't, but they built these things in locations for various reasons.
Yeah.
And whatever the reasons where they were building these things there, I think these creatures are following the same pattern, if you like, and they just happen to, like graveyards, for instance. You know, a lot of churches built on ley lines, so you see UFOs over churches, graveyards, and it's not because they're there because of the graveyard, they're there necessarily because of the ley line, possibly. And I think these creatures maybe follow the ley lines, and that's why they end up in graveyards and places like this. And we think it's, you know, for us it's like, well, the burial mound because there's a burial there or whatever. But I think it's more to do with the actual nature of the area that they're rather than the human built.
I agree 100%. The early monks built their priories on Druid land, and Druids were the followers of the nature religion. Druid actually means of the tree, spirit of the tree. And Druids were our first religion, weren't they? And we chose that. Must have been way back even before the Bronze Age. It must have been prehistoric, where we chose those areas for a reason. They were important to us for some reason. People who are connected to the wild are also connected to the energy of the wild. You get what I mean? And maybe
there's a map that shows ancient monuments. You know the Great Bear constellation.
It
actually maps onto England and a bit of Scotland. These monuments actually map onto that constellation across the breadth of Britain. So we're told it's coincidence, okay?
No, I don't agree. I did decide people get bored of hearing my voice, I'll be honest. So I'll make it as short as I can. But I noticed a long time ago that places like Banbury, some of the sighting reports were right on the monuments, on the old standing stones and the stone circles. So I just pulled 20 randomly just to be, you know, non-scientific or whatever. I thought, pull them randomly, Deb, and have a look. And they matched up. So I went through every single report on that map and they all matched up with an ancient site. And you know what's really weird? There's 2 reports on that map that I think are hoaxed. And they didn't match. And I thought, wow, that's, you know, that tells me something. Every one of those reports on that map, whether it be Dogman, Ape Man, Pigman, Batman, Mothman, are all around our ancient sites, which is amazing, isn't it, when you think about it? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've shared it or I don't know if you have a theory, but what do you think Bigfoot is?
I don't know. My honest answer is I don't know. I thought he was an ape in the beginning, a monster type, you know, like a monster or something like that, just completely paranormal and I don't know, almost like a ghost. But he looked as normal as you and I. His flesh felt like look like, other than the fact that he looked like a pig in ape, he was alive, if you get what I mean. But he shouldn't have been there, and I shouldn't have seen him. So in the beginning, I just thought it was something like that. I thought I'd had like a weird mind slip or a time slip or just something paranormal had happened. It was only when I started finding the other witnesses that, and nobody mentioned Bigfoot back then, Lee. None of us said. They were all talking about these ape-like men or dog-like men, and I knew that they were the same as me. I could see the same confusion, and I like you were talking before when those two lads were chatting. When you talk to someone who's had a similar experience, you finish your other sentences sometimes in a way. When you were talking about sitting in the van before, instantly, because I have so many sightings come in, I was going through the sightings in my head where I know that's happened. It's happened at Epping Forest, an area where there are multiple burial mounds. But Bodicea herself, road there, that's ancient land, same thing, things actually hitting and staying in his hood. Thetford, an area of a number of sightings, stones landing on the top of car roofs, an actual bolt, a metal bolt landed on top of the car. Colbin, same thing, out researching, no trees around, come back, there's pine cones all over the car, completely covered. I'm trying to remember them all. Well, Colwick, which is not that far, it's in Nottingham, so not that far away. In a van, paranormal investigation, something comes up to the van, breathing heavily, but they can't see it. I've got a report from a soldier that's not prepared to share in that area. And he says that they were out on manoeuvres one night. They were all in an army vehicle. He didn't go into any more detail than that. And something landed on the roof. And whatever it was that landed on the roof, it had hooves. Can you imagine that? And he said, we're all sat in there. We're all looking at each other like nobody knows what to do. You can't go back and report it because you'll be on medical duty. And you know you've got to come back and repeat it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got to be in his 60s now, and he's still not prepared that. And he said, if he had to guess whatever it was, I'd like hooves like a goat, which is, you know, when you think about our sightings in the Grimsby area.
Yeah.
I think the photograph that the lady took, I think the journalist jumped on the Bigfoot thing. Whatever it is dark and moving, and it's got that crouched, hunched thing about it. But we might not be looking for a Bigfoot or a dogman down there. It might be that people know those words now.
Yeah.
And you get what I mean? And that's how they're reporting them. If they're seeing something upright and hairy, moving quick through the woods, they might think dogman, werewolf, Bigfoot, before they initially think, oh, Jesus, is that horns? How many of them have been seen and been mistaken for deer or stags?
Well,
Something,
imagine that.
Yeah.
And jump, you know, trying to rationalize it in their own head that's what they saw, you know. I mean, me myself on the A46, I've seen two black cats.
Yeah.
Up there, and I know it's quite common up there now, and it's almost
like, completely common. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like everybody knows someone that's seen one now. It's that ridiculous. So, but yeah, I've seen it up there. So, I mean, they're not supposed to be here.
There's not enough land. There's not enough food. There's not enough water. There's not enough witnesses. There's no evidence finds. Story of my life for 37 years. Everything they have ever asked me, I have proved. When people say to me, it's not there, you know, Americans, Canadians, wherever they're from, I say, well, if we're finding the same structures, the same footprints, the same anecdotal reports, the same habitats, the same behaviour, if he's not here, he's not there either.
No.
You can't have it both ways, can you? There's two ends.
No, it's one of the things
yeah.
But you learn a lot of, you know, and I'm not singling out Americans, but I am.
No.
But you hear a lot of the people will come on and they'll talk about this cover up. The government's covering it up. This is America because of this owl and all the rest of it, and the law industry, blah blah blah.
I don't think yeah.
Yeah, but if the Americans have got that much power, because they must be covering it up in China, they must be covering it up in India, they must be covering it up in Sumatra, they must be covering it up in Australia, they must be covering it up in Russia, they must be covering it up in Europe, they must be
everywhere. Every country in the world.
Yeah, they're everywhere. You know,
they are, and they might have been here longer than us.
I think the fact that they're bipedal, but quadrupeds as well, probably means that they're somewhere between the great apes and us. So I think they're probably closer. If they're from our ancestry, I think they're probably closer to us than the great apes.
Yeah, I do. I think my personal theory is, and like, I don't mind sharing it. It's not what I've settled on because I don't know everything. I've got a lot to learn. I think that there maybe be a brother or a cousin or somewhere along that hominid line, we are related to them. And some people can pick up on them and they can pick up on some of our humans. And I think it might be to do with the way we used our brain back then compared to where we use, I call it your animal brain. Back then, you sense, you smell, everything would have kept you alive. Now you don't need it, so you don't use it as often. But I think some people still do without realising.
Yeah, it's like, I read a report once. It said that we've got the same keen sense of smell as a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
It's just switched off.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we don't need it anymore. It's not. To them, it's life or death. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but for them, it's life or death. So us, it's nothing. Yeah. You know, you don't need it. If you don't, you might. There might have been some point in your life when you were a kid, maybe, or younger, and you were walking home somewhere and you're really scared, and the hairs go up on the back of your neck, and suddenly your hearing kicks in, and your sight kicks in, doesn't it? Your natural instinct kick in, and I think that happens sometimes.
Yeah,
and that's why people have sightings. Why wouldn't they just keep quiet till you walk past?
Well, this is the thing,
That's the thing that bugs me. If you just stayed quiet.
To be honest, I think that might because they're in their world. They perceive everyone to have the same senses as we've just been talking about. Maybe they perceive everyone to have the same senses as them. So when we get that close to them, maybe they think we can smell them or we can.
Yeah.
And we can. It's like night vision. It seems that Bigfoot. Let's look at a lot of the case in the States. It seems that Bigfoot almost anticipates that we've got night vision.
Yeah, that we can see the same as them. Yeah.
Obviously we can. They know that, and I think they when we get too close, I think they probably think, oh, we're a bit too close now, and you probably smelt me anyway, so it's time to get up and go.
Yeah, they'll employ that distraction technique, that throwing of stones or things onto your car or onto your tent to make you move from the area. That's intelligence and immense intelligence. If they can use a distraction technique rather than reveal themselves and put themselves in danger, they're working like an Amazon tribe almost, or like an early tribe. And I think there are some people in this world, believe it or not, who think that there are one Bigfoot. That's it. There's just one in each country. It just couldn't happen because the descriptions are so varied across the spectrum. There's clearly has to be a breeding population, and this is where the skeptics say, but there is not enough land. And we're looking at that from look at it from completely the wrong aspect. We think that they need these vast areas, and they don't. I mean, but the reason we see them, I think, is because we encroach on their areas and we build on their areas and we make it really hard for them. And they're trying to follow these routes that they followed over time, and we cut them off. So they have to scoot and adapt and change and all of the above. That's incredibly intelligent. We would have caught them so long ago if, And then we've got to take on board the non-physical thing as well, Lee, haven't we? We've got to take that on board.
Well, you can't throw it out because
no, you can't.
Too many accounts that have it in there. So for me, I'm leaning towards flesh and blood. But like you say, these accounts do crop up, and you can't throw it out because you want it to be this or you want it to be that. You've just got to take all the evidence and decide, which theory fits best from the evidence. I wonder how many people in the chat think that Bigfoot is an alien.
I would imagine that some people do, and I can understand why. It's far more suited to this earth than we are. He doesn't need a car or a house or a jumper or a coat. quite happily lives on this. It very well could be. They could be dimensional. They could move between dimensions, and we just don't understand it.
Yeah.
And it could just be a physical thing that we are all capable of without realizing, and they're 100 times better at it than we are. So we don't see it as an ability, we see it as supernatural in a way. This vanishing and appearing at will, if that is just their hair that works like a natural ghillie suit, we can be forgiven for thinking that they can vanish and appear at will. But maybe they can vanish and appear at will because people have seen or experienced that very thing. So years ago, people said to me, "No, you're not allowed to do that. You have to pick one." And why? I want to learn. I want to learn all the flavors till I work out what works for me, and then I can put the bloody thing down and walk away from it. And that's not happened yet. And it's the same for you. You research paranormal events. You can't walk away, can you, Lee?
No. Once you've seen it, it people go two ways normally. Once they've seen something straight, that we call paranormal or supernatural, a lot of people tend to go two different ways. They either go wholeheartedly into it and want answers for, what they've seen and all the rest of it, or they shy away from it. It couldn't be what I've seen. My mind was playing tricks, whatever, and that's it. It's just closed off completely. So I think once it grabs you, it grabs you.
It does. It's like I see people that are in their 80s that are struggling with the reports that they had when they were children. You don't carry something like that with you unless it's had a profound effect on you. And a profound effect to me is a real event. Yeah. And you see, like police officers and ambulance men and army men, and they're having PTSD, and it's not because of the job, it's because what they saw on the job, and they've got nobody to go to with that. I mean, they're scared of losing the job for a start. How do you say that you're on a job and you've seen something 8 foot black and hairy run across the road in front of the car?
Well,
how do you report that?
You don't. I mean, in England, you don't.
Yeah, exactly that.
How many more of that? Even if you're told, your relatives won't believe you.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Who do you tell? That's why I'm hoping that as you were saying before, when we get people together and you get them talking, they open up, don't you? It gets easier to talk about it. I know it's like panic. Everybody, I thought, for the first 2 seconds, I thought, I hope they're not all going to be worried that I'm going to say he's a witness and because I thought that's not for me to say. And then after 2 minutes, they were all opening up to each other because it was a recognised, I've been through that, or I understand that because this has happened to me. And it might have been about a UFO, it could have been a paranormal experience, but you understand the other person, don't you?
I had the same experience just the other night. I mean, a few nights ago, I was round at a friend's to watch the Champions League final, and we got talking about ghosts or whatever, and everybody said, "Oh, it's a load of crap, it's a load of bollocks, whatever." And then as the night wore on, and a few cans had gone down, people started mentioning, all these things that had happened in their life, haunted houses and all this. So it's one of those things. It's a front at first. People say no, couldn't happen, and then later on, they admit that they've seen these things.
Yeah.
But one of my working fears. I've seen a few people in the chat here think that Bigfoot can change, go between the realms, and I know Aaron said that maybe us humans are aliens. There's a few people that think, no one really knows. I mean,
we just don't. Until one of us sits down with them and we have the conversation, we just don't know, do we? I just think, for me, because people take my word as gospel, and they shouldn't, I am just as confused as everybody else. I have no idea. All I can go off is the information that I've learned over the years and just hope that I'm steering people in the right direction. And I realized a long time ago that you've got to give people options. You can't just say to someone, I know what you saw, because we weren't stood next to him, were we? So I just think, well, here are all the theories. You might, like myself, back in the day when I was just looking for an ape, you're going to change your mind. You might not change your mind, but your research does wander down different avenues. You find a certain thing and it sets you up on a tangent and you go after it. And I'm just the sort of person that has to explore everything until I'm kind of settle on something.
Yeah.
Other people are different, aren't they? It's how we do it differently. So when you get all those ideas together, all chatting in the one place. I was speaking to Joe Vogel, who's a gentleman that has been on the show before, and he said to me, we could do the odd round table, we could get different people on from different walks of life, different theories, and just get them on and get them chatting. And I said, I think that's an ace idea. I think we really should do that. We could do it once a month, and anyone's invited, and just pop on, and we'll just talk about, what your theory is or what you've seen or whatever, and just get the discussion going, really. Yeah. And then people won't feel as bad about coming forward, because there's a massive change. The change in the last 2 years has amazed me.
I think that would be worth doing for sure, because I think you could ask 10 people, and they'd all have different theories. It's the same with ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly. But years ago, you couldn't report a ghost. You looked like you were mental if you said you've seen a ghost or a spirit. Same for the UFO abductees. Now it's acceptable. I think that's going to happen. I can see it happening, so I know it's going to happen. For witnesses, if the Bigfoot, hominid, dogmen, whatever name you want to give them, those type of creatures, people will discuss more of it. Now, my friend Rick's just pops into the chat, and this is one way of me saying, Rick, I hope we can end things as friends, because we come from a very different perspective, me and Rick. He has one opinion and I have completely the other side of the spectrum. But still, we can have a discussion and we can have a conversation without falling out, because I may change my opinion over time, and so may Rick, and we may not. We don't know. But there's nothing wrong with being friends in the meantime. And I think that's how I'm trying to base joining BBR. It doesn't matter what your interest is, and it doesn't matter how much you can put in or any of that. Just let's get chatting online, and it's safe. You can talk to each other. And if you're worried about putting your email out there, don't be, because I can just give you a little reference number and I can keep your email and pass on any messages or, requests or anything like that. So you can actually do it anonymously if you want to. And you can find Lee on there, and you can find all of the people in the chat. And if you've not got your memberships, why have you not got your memberships? We need researchers in areas. So if it's okay with you, Lee, I'm going to have to round things up now, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Because I've still got to plough through all of the researchers that I'm going to need, and you are one of them, for the Bradley Brooks thing in Grimsby.
Yeah.
So let me just get my notes together. But I'm hoping you'll come back on, because hearing everything you had to say in the one place made it so much easier for me to understand. You get what I mean? When you're talking Messenger, it goes in, but it doesn't go in like when you have a normal conversation like this. Absolutely. So now I'm thinking, wow, I would imagine that you've been probably having strange experiences for most of your life. And that's maybe why you're interested in the paranormal. What got you interested in it, Lee, if you don't mind me asking?
The paranormal? I had an experience when I was probably 10 years old. I experienced with what we call nowadays fairies, or the grey folk.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
a lot of people think Tinkerbell when you say fairies, but this
No.
is more akin to a goblin.
Yeah, they're awful in real life.
And, I had a strange experience, one of those, and that really left a hole.
You question everything.
I need answers, and there's nowhere to find answers, because everyone you speak to, it didn't happen. I know it did happen, but people say, well, it didn't happen. So then you're left with a gaping hole, and that's it.
And then it sends you on this quest where you try and work out what's out there, because if that's real, what else is real? Wow. Disney's done this whole number on fairies, made it this little lovely Tinkerbell type thing. They're quite mean, and they're tricksters, and you don't eat around them or drink around them, because you'll never be seen again in the woods. And if I was having this conversation 200 years ago, nobody would bat an eyelid. They
No.
would say, all the missing people, that's down to fairies, that's down to the goblins, the boggets, the bull beggars. We all had a name for it, depending on where you were in the country. They would steal food. They'd run past you quickly in the woods and scare you. Horse blankets, plaited manes on horses and tails and things. A lot of the stuff that we put down to the woodwoo, so the Bigfoot, or whatever name you want to give it, people have been talking about it for generations. I took an account only last year from a gentleman who says that he saw what he described as a little brown boy, typical mud fairy, as they call them in Dorset, up on Chehalin in Scotland. And when I looked, there was an actual history going all the way back of what they call the Pictish brown boy, which is a small brown fairy type creature covered in mud. And I thought, he's reporting that in 2016, and they were reporting that back in the 6th century. But it's the same thing.
There's something to it.
He's got to be. He's not had a conversation with anyone, has he?
No.
He was incredibly brave coming forward, I thought, for a working class man in 2016 to discuss seeing a fairy. That is a bloke with some minerals, because it's not easy. It's not a conversation you can have, even with a woman. Sometimes they don't want to talk to me because I'm a lass and think she's not going to understand, because it's, so that's why it's for me, it's invaluable to be able to say, well, talk to Stu, talk to Lee, talk to Dave, talk to Alan, because they're in your area. They kind of know what you're going on about. Just have a chat with them. I think more people will come forward because you're not going to talk to a woman about it. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, which brings me now to, we have some reports in, let me get it. Dean Coolin, who is one of the members, is going to investigate these for me. But if you want to get in touch with Dean, he is already on the map. So you'll just find him on there. Pop on the map and have a look. Or email me and I'll give you his contact, because he's looking for reports he's going to investigate South Wales. He's managed to get in touch with a witness down there. And the Cannock chase reports. Now, aren't you going to be in Cannock at some point this week?
I was hopefully going this week. Yeah, that's been postponed, but
right.
Open to get out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, me too. So hopefully we can combine that, and we'll get some of the members out as well. And we'll have a bit of a meet up there. So
yeah, well, let me know when you want to discuss fairies and that, because I'd love to be involved in that.
Yeah, I will do, most definitely, because I know lots and lots of people want to redo the Cannock. Giles has found as an area where we can have a brew. It's really easy. The able-bodied can get out and have a walk, and the ones that can't can sit with me, and we'll have a NASA like we did last time. When it came up again, Steve Ebbican's going to look at that one. There are so many accounts coming up at Cannock. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely, yeah.
GPE is going to look at the Peak District one with Shane Winfro Farmer, and some of the Midlands and Cannock Chase ones. Then we have got the Shea in Guildford one. I'm hoping that Trevor Cornwall, Ian Malcolm, or Jack Hills can get on that one, or they can all have a chat with each other, because you're all surrounding the actual account. Nobody's right on it, but it might be worth a research day having a look at it. Now, the one up in Kildare, I am looking for people up there. I know, I think it's Northern Nightmares up that way. Hugh Hill, Lee Musselwhite. We've got lots and lots of members in the Stanley area. Believe it or not, in that very small town, there are 6 people who are interested in Bigfoot, and some of them are witnesses, which I found was a really strange anomaly. And then I realised it's popping up everywhere. We have little clusters on that map of people who are in the same town that have the same interest as you, and you could be chatting to them and bouncing theories off them. Alston, which is another one in the northeast. Karen Horton's up there, Dal Lumley, Angela, Barbara, and Andy Revell. If they fancy nipping out to the area and doing a research day for me, or having a look around and taking some photos. The report that came in from Cumbria that I need to track down, that I think El Dwyer is our member in Cumbria. We need more members in Cumbria. We only have the one. Thorny and Peterborough. Now, I might pronounce this wrong. I hope I get it right, Simon. I think it's Simon Code. Steve White and G. Williams, they're around that area. They're all on the map. So get chatting with each other, and hopefully Steve also is available for the Epping area of the UK. Now, Daniel and Bethany Pitkin. Can you, at any point over the year, get to Gwynedd? Because we're an account in Gwynedd, and I really need people to get out there and have a look at the area and take some photos for me. Snowdonia, we've got M King. You won't believe this many have come in 6 weeks, would you?
Right.
East Anglia is Simon Coed again. Willenhall, I've got Giles Vin, David Jasmine Green, Steve Hebican, and GPE. So if you guys could have a chat and get on the Willenhall one for me, I'll speak to the witness and see if he'll meet up with you. Dundee. Now, in
Right, I'm
Scotland.
going to have to jump off, Deb, because I've got a chicken.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lee. And I will speak to you later if you've got. I'll message you later on and thank you. Okay. Pop along to Lee's podcast. It is the Realm of the Supernatural podcast. If you can't find it, email me and I'll send you the link across. In Scotland, we have a dedicated team.
Doing that.
Sorry?
So you might lose some friends doing that.
No, I don't think so. I think they'll enjoy it. It's lots of people have that interest, Lee, and I think that they'll think, oh, I absolutely love this. So yeah. So until next time, thank you very much.
See you. Thank you.
See you, Lee. Good night, lad. Right, Scotland. We have a designated team in Scotland. We have Jim McCarvey, Bob Smith, Gordon Mackey. I hope I pronounced them right, gentlemen. They are looking after the area either side of Isabella's Land. As many of you know, Isabella's Land has now been closed and there is no one on there. So they're going to look on either side of it by about 1.5 miles out. So we're not intruding on anybody. And they're going to see if they can pick up Scottish Outdoors. Yeah, you could jump. I've got a number of Scottish accounts that I need people to jump onto. As I say, Dundee's another one that's popped up. So as I say, there's about 10 researchers in Scotland. So if you all get together and the ones that are not on the map, jump on the map, you've got an actual team there without realising it. Some are on the East Coast, some are on the West Coast, and some are in the middle. So, I mean, you could, by all rights, have your own, Scottish team, Scottish website, Scottish Facebook group, Scottish YouTube. People will be interested. Same for Wales. I know you are out there, Barbs, and you are one of the most dedicated female researchers in the UK. Why are you not on my map? Barb is always out in her area, and she will happily meet up with females, of course. Us ladies are a bit, we don't really like meeting up with gentlemen we don't know, but she'll be more than happy to chat with you online until she feels comfortable enough to do it. Jonah, you're out there in Wales. What's going on? Why have you not got in touch with me? There's a number of them, and I want to see them on the map if we can, please, because there are so many sighting reports in Wales. I just haven't got time to put them on the map at the moment, and there's nowhere out there no one to go and check the areas for me at all. So I know you're struggling down there in Wales, but there's a lot of you. There's quite a few of you. So is that it? Let me have a look. Let me just check. Little Lou, Sarah Cracknell, if you could have a look there for me, that would be wonderful. Lee's going to take care of the Bradley book, but there's also Jameson is in the area. If you want to reach out to Lee, his email is on the map. Chris Jebb, could you at any point have a look at the Colwick area for me? I've got 4 reports down there now. I'll have a chat with Tim and see if he'll meet up with you. And he can show you the exact area because he's incredibly helpful and he wasn't worried about me sharing it. And Tim, if you are listening, I've got all the info on draft in email. I just haven't had a chance to open them up yet. See if there's any more. No, I think we've covered it now. So, Scotland, Ireland and Wales, we are absolutely desperate for researchers in those areas. Now, I'm still processing membership, so not everybody is on the map. If you want to see it and you haven't seen it, I'll stick a link in a minute. When it goes live to YouTube, I will stick a link down in the description for you. I'm going to pop one up now again in the live feed just so people can find it. And it's not about the money. I don't make a bloody penny. In fact, I think I make minus 28p or something, so I'm always going to be skint for the rest of my life. Thanks, Chris. You are an absolute sweetheart. I only charge for the posting and packaging in the paper because it costs me an absolute fortune. And then you will get an email every month and it will give you all the latest sightings that have come out before they go onto YouTube or anywhere else. So you'll get them probably a week before anybody else. there is private podcasts where I've put sighting reports that are not out there in the world. Before they go onto YouTube, they will go up on Podbean and on Spreaker, and you can listen to them yourselves, and they're free. Everything is free after that £2.99. So you get quite a big bang for your buck, in all honesty. Some people have said to me, Debbie, you should charge more because you don't charge for your time. I've always done everything for free because it's just a hobby for me, isn't it? It's but if the post goes up or anything like that, I might have to add a few pence on it. But as it goes at the moment, you can just PayPal me the money or get in touch with me an email, and I will send you a set of membership papers out. And on that set of membership papers is a link to every single site that we have that's free. And also I'll send that out to you in an email, so you've got a handy link for it online. So now I'm going to round up. So is there any questions? If you got any questions, fire them at me now. I've got me pen. Shane Winfro is buying a nightscope. You're an absolute darling, Shane. I am still trying to get YouTube, Amazon and eBay and Wish and places like that to give us some free kit. I said, give us some free kit, and they'll make a video and they'll give it a review, and they'll let people know where to buy it and things like that. Not happening yet, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep asking. Because you're all out wild camping, you're out in the woods, you're using night scopes, you want GoPros, we all want flares. So let us test them for you, and we'll give them a decent review. And that way, everyone's a winner. We all get a bussy off it, as my dad would say. But no, I've not had any responses yet, but I will keep knocking at that door. I will, while I'm on it, I would really like to say thank you to everybody that has joined the map. So if you don't want to know, I would turn off now, because Kaz, my best friend and partner in crime, Kaz Eastwood, Andy McGrath, Lee Musselway, Johnny Bigfoot UK, Andy Revell, Northern Nightmare, Darren Howe, Chris Turner, GPE, Stu Hill, Heather Peacock, Mike Werewolf, also known as Ian, Sean White, Dal Lumley, Trevor Cornwall, Angela, Chris Jebb, Christian Sarker, Steve Carr, Andy Baxter, Shane Winfro, Peter Shavio, Linda Tompkinson, Ali Jarvis, Sarah Cracknell, Barbara, Claire, Emma Adam, Kay Scariot, Paul and Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Steve Murphy. There's a surprise in the post for you, Charlie. Lee Solway, Aaron Finch, Kirk Reed, Karen Horton, Mark Farnell, Daniela Golia. I probably said that wrong, and Daniela, I apologise. Simon Coed. You can find Danielle on Bigfoot Odyssey. There is a YouTube channel and a Facebook group. Deb Neal. Deb Neal is a wonderful lady and has put every single one of those sightings on the map into I don't know how she's doing it. I think she might have used magic, in all honesty. It's elf magic or something. But she has been able to work out the average height, the average hair colour, what name people call them by. You would be amazed. If you want a copy of that PDF, just email me and I'll send it across to you. I know Deb won't mind. It's the best piece of research that I have ever seen in my 40 years of researching. Let's put it that way. I've never known anyone run the numbers on something like that, and it's amazing. Right, back to me shouts. I am H. I know who you are, but I'm not going to give your name out. G. Williams, Angela, Ruth O'Connell, Leslie Harwood, B. Brookhouse, M. Collins, S.Y. Hello, Mark, J. Hills, D. Bunt, L. Dwyer, David Jasmine Green, Steve Hebican, my nutters from the Midlands, Adam Toplin, Joel Hutchins, Kev Newer, C. Jameson, Linda Robinson, my friend Linda in Nottingham, Natalie, my friend in Stockport, Cass says hi, D. Bristow, David, down there near the Avon. Wonderful man is David. Get in touch with David. He's always up for a research day. Daniel Grester, Ian Malcolm, M. Lumley, Giles Bint, Claire Ellis, MK, a member from Wales, Daniel P. and Bethany from Colwyn, Dean Cooling, Frank Brown, Gary Hughes, Gordon Mackey, Bob Smith, Jamie McLeod, AWB, Pepper, my friend up there in Scotland, Wendy SR, Sharon, Ryan, Kevin White, Richard Ban, and Susie Edwards. Every single person that took the time this week to join BBR and lend their support. And I want to say thank you to every single one of you. And everyone who joins after this week will get a shout out on the next show. So I'm really sorry that I couldn't screen share with you. As I explained, my grandson dropped my phone and broke it. So I didn't have a phone. I had a phone for a week. I've been on an old Nokia. So I've not had any tech at all week. So I've not been able to do absolutely nothing. So I'm going to keep this on for a little minute just so that you can all keep chatting, because I can see that you're all having really interesting. Heather L. Peacock, I don't think I mentioned you then, and I should do. Best female researcher in the UK, and a very open-minded lady as well. So I know that she does a lot of work with dogmen reports. So if you've had a dogmen sighting, you don't want to talk to me about, talk to Heather, get in touch with Heather. I can give you her email, have a chat with her about it, because she knows a lot more than me about the dogman, and especially the North sightings in Yorkshire. Northern Nightmare, thank you very much for joining me. GPE, everybody that turned out tonight to support us in the chat, and Lee jumping on, I cannot say thank you enough. If you're interested in joining me and Joe, and hopefully Randa, in our round robin, just open conversation at any point, let me know, and I'll let you know when we'll be doing them. I think we'll probably just do one a month or something like that. We can discuss the sighting reports, we can discuss theories, we can bound ideas about, and it'll just give you an opportunity to get to know us all a little bit more. Audra, hello, I've not heard from you for ages. I hope you're doing very well. Yeah. Jamie, one of my admins, very working hard. Ruth Connell's one of my admins. Heather is one of my admins. Lots of people think I do what I do on my own. I do not. That is a fallacy. I am just the lady with the big gob and the face that people recognise. There are so many people behind me that do work continuously on this day in, day out. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without them. Centurious, Heather Peacock, dogmen in Yorkshire. They're on the north east coast, Centurious. There are a number, for some reason, from Chapel Firth down Skegness, Hull, Barnston Drain, that Devil's Dyke, that kind of area up Flixton Way, has reports of dogmen and werewolf type creatures. One of the things we've noticed is reports of dogmen and werewolf like creatures always happen around ancient barrows that have been either disturbed or built upon. And that's one area of the UK where, other than Cannock Chase, there are a number of dog-like, upright, canid creatures. Daniel's just asked when I'll be on Sasquatch Chronicles UK. I don't know. He just left me hanging. He messaged me and asked me when I go on because people wanted to hear about me. And he had Andy on, and then I just sat, and he never got back in touch. I don't know. Don't know if he wants me to go on or not. I'm there if he wants me. You know, I'm always around for free. But no, unless he's really busy or something's come up. But, you know, a girl can take a hint. I haven't heard from Wes, so I don't know when I'll be going on. Chris Murphy, I've been in contact with a lot. Canadian gentleman who runs Sasquatch Canada. He's a lovely gent. He is opening a museum, actually, dedicated to hominids all across the world. And he's in touch with Iger and Jeff Meldrum and people like that. I'm hoping he's going to come on and have a chat with us, because he's an amazing gentleman and he has many, many, many reports, which brings me to the let's talk about Bigfoot map. Nothing to do with my map, absolutely free. A number of people in America, Susie in Australia, a number of people around the world have said to me, oh, I wish I could join that BBR map. I can't do what I do for the Brits because I'm doing it for free and I'd have to charge it, and people in America just do not want to give me any money for some reason. I don't know why, but I get it. They don't know me and they don't know what I do. The idea being I open a map for them so that they could go on it, put their email on quick. You know, I'm in Washington. This is my email. I want to talk about Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever, or I'm interested in podcasts. These are the podcasts that I listen to. I have a YouTube channel. I'm a researcher. I'm looking for a teammate, just so people can meet up on it. It's just a really simple Google map. It's only been in operation about 3 or 4 days, so there aren't many people on it, in all honesty. I think I've got 2 in Canada. But I'm hoping it'll catch on and it'll put people in touch with each other. Sasquatch Amiga, thank you very much for saying that. I really do appreciate the support. If you've got a YouTube channel and you would like me to share it, either in the live feeds or anything like that for free, I don't charge, let me know and I will pop you on the worldwide map so people know where to find you. I'll have a permanent link to your site. little bit of a bio if you can, so the members know what you're interested in, what you're looking for. I'm more than happy to do that. It'll take me 2 seconds to copy and paste it and pop it on the map and send you the link. And then hopefully in time, it will be able to put people together across the world, whether they want to, you know, speak as witnesses, you just want to find a friend, you want a researcher. Like me and Paul Sinclair, we didn't realise for years and years and years that we were both probably researching very similar subjects, and people had me pegged as Bigfoot and they had me pegged as UFO, and they don't really realise that you have very similar interests. It's only when we sat down and had a conversation that we realised a lot of the reports that come in were what Paul classes as invisible life forms, and I get them as well, where you can hear it moving but you can't see it, you can smell it, it's around you, you know it's around you, it's moving things, you cannot actually see it. If we hadn't have had that conversation, we wouldn't realize that we had witnesses in common. For one thing, we both were working on the same theory, that is it the area itself that is attracting this phenomenon, or is it the area that's putting out this phenomenon? Or is it nothing to do with the area whatsoever? Is it the witness herself? So we realised, having a conversation, that we had so much in common. And I'm hoping we can do that for other people. And like I say, it's free. You just pop your name on there and that's it. It's done. I don't have to do anything else. And you can get in touch with each other when you want to. If you're worried about being on there because you're a lady, and I understand completely, I can put you on with a reference, and then I will keep a private note of your name and your Gmail. And if any requests come in, I can do that. I don't mind doing that. It's 2 seconds and it's just an email. I don't mind doing that at all. If you want to make a donation, I would be incredibly grateful, because I fund everything myself. People think I'm a millionaire. I'm not. It comes out of the housekeeping. My family are absolutely wonderful, and but they are starting to roll their eyes a little bit lately. Web fees and domain fees and this fees and that fees and trips to post office, you know. I can't do it, as you know, I'm disabled. They do all that for me. So if you want to make a donation, please do. I think there was 1 month back at Christmas where we couldn't even do anything because we had no Wi-Fi for about 3 weeks. That's how low key I am. But I'm just hoping that, like the sightings map that I made way back when I started that, I think I had 3. And I started with that 3, and I think now there's over 600. So I'm hoping it'll be the same as that. So if you want to go on both maps, either or maps, or you're not really sure about the maps and you just want to chat to me about something, please email me. It may take me a long time to get back to you. It's not something I do as a full-time job, honestly. And my disability at the minute is really bad, and I'm fighting pain constantly, but I really am trying to get through them all. And as I say, when I said that people are going through them for me, they will not be replying and pretending to be me. I didn't mean that. I mean, they can pull out. I get a lot of spam off sites and things like that, and then my emails can be 200-300, and if they pull them out, that's a massive thing to me. Lots of sites that want me to join them, or they want me to do this, or they want me to do that, and these people that can do that for me, so they are doing that. So I'm hoping I can get through them a little more quickly. People are saying that they're not seeing as much as me on Facebook. I'm just really busy at the minute. The sighting reports are coming in incredibly quickly, but luckily, because we've got all the people that are members now, they are in contact with witness, or about to be in contact with the witnesses. They can take that on, and I don't have to do that. I am always going to be around, and you can message me at any point and I will always be there. I'm just saying that it's got that big now that other people are playing much bigger parts in it than I am. I will still always be witness concentrated, and really it's the witness accounts and the getting them across there, getting their stories out, is where my skill set lies, and a little bit of admin, because I was a secretary for a long time, so I'm really good at sticking people on a map and clicking on a mailing address. It's as simple as that for me. I know it's not the same for everybody else, and if you don't feel that you've got anything to offer, that doesn't matter. You want to just sit back with a brew, put your feet up and listen to the shows, or read the articles, that's absolutely fine. We're up for that. It just might mean that you meet someone in your area or not too far away that you could, you know, if you wanted to meet up and have a brew, you can. If you just want to chat online, you can. Speaking of meeting up, people are waiting for me to organise the meets, and I need some help. If you want to have a meet in your area, I'm not saying you have to do all the organisation. Giles and Kev Newing and a number of the others went up and looked for me and said, Debbie, there's a cafe here. There's a little wood at the side. I will put a shout out on YouTube and Facebook and say, right, we're going to be there at, 11 p.m. on the bloody blah of September or whatever. If you want to come out, meet us there. I will try and get to as many of those as I can. And if I can't, get me on a live feed. Someone get me on the iPhone and I'll be there with you and talking. It'll be exactly the same. I just won't be there in person. My walking ability is absolutely dreadful and I don't want to hold people back like I did at Cannock. So having a cafe is great. I can talk to everybody and I can have short, slow walks. And Steve Hebbican is an absolute darling. Sent me a portable chair so that I'll be able to do a lot more. I can walk a bit, sit and do that. And I'm never going to be able to just walk around the woods. That's not going to happen for me. But I love meeting all the people and I love seeing them swapping stories. And Lee Muzz is bringing up Bollum. I'm going to do a report on Bollum Lake because I've got a number of reports that are old that really need bringing up to date. All we've got on the Bollum stuff is the stuff that come through the CFZ, and I'm not calling them names. I'm just saying it's really old. You could really do something getting up there and having a look. If you're not brave enough to say to people, you ever seen anything weird around here? You don't have to do that. If you are, and you see people walking around, you don't have to tell them anything. I always say, oh, I come on here a lot. Have you ever seen anything strange in here? And most of the time they go, no, what you're talking about. Every now and again they'll say, well, actually, then you get a bit of a story about them. But even if you just want to walk around, take a few images of it, send them in to me on email because I can redo the account, bring it up to date, add the other accounts that are with it. It's just a simple matter of talking into the dictaphone. And then I can add your images and say that A Brown went out to the area June the 12th, and this is the area and this up the photographs for it. It's just get a little sighting, not a sighting report, an area report, really. I'm hoping more and more people will do that. They do snap small trees and tricks to tops to spirit in certain directions. I'm glad you brought that up, Renee. Lots of people ask me, what does this sign mean? What does that sign mean? I am not an expert on signs. But like Renee, you notice certain things and you listen to other people and they give you advice. Listen to all of it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like when you have a new baby and everybody tells you everything. Listen to it all and then you make your own choice about it and go your own way. Johnny Bigfoot UK is excellent on signs. He's dedicated years to it. If you're really, really interested in the signs, get in touch with him. I'm going to pop him on the map later. He's not on there yet, but I'm going to pop him on. Get in touch with him and he'll tell you what he thinks the signs are and why they are. He's put an enormous amount of work in there. If you are interested in researching, not in the camo going in with weapons, get in touch with Stu Hill. He'll teach you how to go in like an animal. And you've got more chance of going the Stu way than you have of going in with lots of tech. But that's, you do your own thing. It's like wood knocks in it. It's a personal choice. Oh, see, we don't get paid, do we, Stu? People think we're millionaires. Stu works all day long and then still goes to his research area. I think we're all like that. We're all a bit skint. Yeah, we've all, what we like woods and we like being out in nature and we like swapping the stories. There is a massive community out there without you all knowing that people that email me don't have Facebook and YouTube. Similar thing, people who YouTube don't have Facebook. People who WhatsApp don't have Instagram. So you're all spread across a massive amount of social media. And I've thought for years and years and years, how can I get them all talking to each other? Because they don't really need me. They just need to talk to each other and then it'll take off on its own. People will make their own groups. They'll start making podcasts. It'll bring the subject to life. And I think people just need me to say, no, go ahead, do it. Ignore what I say. Do what you want to do. Because there's not really much more I can do now. I can keep bringing you the sightings. But at the end of the day, I'm in the same place as you. Like, I am still learning every single day. So I thought, I know, I'll make a map. Well, actually, it wasn't even the credit couldn't even go to me. It went to my daughter. Mum, make a map. Stick everybody on it that's a member. And then they can meet up with each other online and have their own meets. They don't need to ask you to set it up for them. It'll take a massive weight off your shoulders. and they'll get chatting, they'll make new friends, they'll go out. Claire in Malton, I am dying to get up there to Claire because she's sent us a hair sample in. It's an amazing area. Stu went down there and had a chat with her. And I've got the hair sample here. I've got Stu's hair sample. He sent me an hair sample in the post from the northeast. So I'll take some photographs of that forensically. I'm not going to touch it, but I'll take some photographs of it and I'll share with people in that group that I was talking about before, the Google Images. I'll pop it up in there for everyone. Stu's on the map, Lee. If you go on the map, it's just above you. Press the little red icon, and that's Stu's. And his email address is in there. He's also on Facebook. But if you can't find him, just send me a message and I'll pop you over to him. Well, they do, don't they, Sasquatch Amiga? I could tell you a story about the finding Bigfoot, but I'll probably get bloody sued. They came over to Britain in 2015, and it was just an absolute debacle. Yeah, they were about as much use as a chocolate ashtray. But, you know, never mind. So we try again. It was like, back then it was trying to get people together and we just couldn't do it. Centuris, while you're on, I want to say thank you for all the laughs that you give me. I absolutely love your channel. It tickles me. If you're into Bigfoot and you like a laugh, check his channel out. Yeah, it's everything he says is what we're thinking when we're out there. It really is. It reminds me of Darren Howe. He's got that funny sense of humour to him. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you all, and it's been an absolute pleasure seeing you all meeting up online and everything. But my pain is kicking in and I need to go now and take my med. So I will be around for like the next half hour if anyone gets in touch with me, but until that's probably going to be tomorrow now. Lots of people who have seen me out and about in the car, people think I've won the pools. I've not won the pools. Yeah, it's just because my mobility is so bad. We've been entitled to get a vehicle, so that's what we're doing. So hopefully Mark has been taking me on little short journeys, getting me kind of used to being in that position for a long time, because it really does drive me mad. But so he's been stopping at services and things like that, so I've been able to get out and have a walk. And I think I'm going to be all right to do a few meets as long as they're not too far away. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in Scotland, I'm not going to be able to get there, but stick me on the iPhone. Pull your iPad out and just put me on Skype or Google Hangouts, and I'll be there with you. So we can have the same conversation, and you don't have to buy me a brew that way. But Glenn, I'm hoping Glenn's going to come up my way and have a chat with me and Mark and come to the house and everything. I'm hoping we can go up Rivy, Glenn. If the weather's bad and we can't get up Rivy, we'll probably go up Phillips Park Hall, and I'll show you that structure that Darren and Rob found down there. And I can see all my friends now. It's lovely seeing all my friends in the chat shopping. Look, see, I need to go and take my pills. This is what happens. My speech impediment will kick in, and I'm 2 minutes, I'll be asleep on the bed. So it's very glamorous, my life. Right, I'm going to go and have my chocolate brownie and a brew now. And it's absolutely freezing, and it's been peeing down all day. So I will be back on Wednesday with an account from Keanu Lapsarites. Sorry, Clint. Giles, I'm really sorry. From Keanu, Mr. Lapsarites, I shall call him. I'll be back then, and I have about 10 videos lined up, and they'll pop up at some point during the month. They're all scheduled. It's not something I have to do. So until next time, thank you all very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has, and I really mean that. And I will probably just turn my mic off now, so you can all say, you know, good night to each other, and the chat won't go down. So I don't want to impolitely just kick you all off, but I can turn off my mic, and then you can carry on chatting. And then when everyone's stopped, I'll just turn up the live for you. So until next time, thank you all very good. Here we go again, Dad.